Can you see me? No.
There we go. Now we've got you. All right, so I have my...
Hello.
Say ahead, say what?
Hey, how are you? I'm not alone. I brought my two little boys. You want to meet them?
Yeah.
Noah,
Deadly.
Hi, hi. And that's Yuri. Yuri's 5.5.
Hi, Yuri. Now, how old are you guys? You guys are 7, 8, 9? 8. Yep, 8 years old. Yep, so they're third graders here.
Right, big boys already.
That's right.
And big girls.
All right, so Miss Arena, I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you, and they'll tell you their names and give you a little wave, and then we'll get started with some questions.
Very good. I'm excited. Looking forward to it.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm
Joey.
Joey, nice meeting you.
Matthew.
Matthew.
Okay.
Hi, I'm
Chris. Kevin.
Kevin.
Cameron, sorry.
Cameron.
Yes. And Derek.
Daryl.
Derek.
Derek.
Yep.
Oh,
Perfect.
nice meeting you all.
You have a group of boys here.
Yeah. So I can hardly see Derek, but there's yeah, that's perfect. Now I can see all of you.
All right, good. So we have some questions here for our cultural project, and we're going to get started here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What type of leader do you have in your country?
What type of leader does Germany have in Germany?
So we do have a president, as you do have a president, but our president has only a representative function, so he does not lead the government. We have he's the head of state of our state, but we have next to him we have a prime minister, and the prime minister in Germany is called Chancellor. So, and the Chancellor is a woman. Her name is Angela Merkel. Have you ever heard about her?
Anybody? No?
No. She's just been re-elected in September, and the new government just took up its work shortly before Christmas.
So now...
But we also have a parliamentary system which is similar to yours, but the difference is that our president does not rule the country like your president does.
Right, so where in the United States, our president, if there was a law, has that final veto power. In Germany, if Parliament agrees on a law to pass, then it will be passed regardless of if the president agrees with it or not. Is that correct?
Not always.
Okay.
The president has to sign a law, and within a certain framework, he can disagree with the law, and he can even veto a law. But that's only in very restricted circumstances, and rarely he does assume that function. It would have to be an extreme situation where he really says, I'm opposing that law. Normally, he does not do that at all.
Now, how long is the term for the president in Germany?
The term for the president is 5 years. But the term for the chancellor is only 4 years.
So the chancellor now, is there a limit like there is in the United States of the amount of terms they can have consecutively?
No. Chancellor Merkel has just been re-elected for the 3rd time.
Oh, wow.
So she's the head of government since 2005 already.
So if
but
you
now we have, it's mostly the people who say after a while, you know what, I think they've done a great job, but now it's time for change. And so they would elect somebody else.
Excellent.
What is a typical day in your school?
So what would a typical day look like in a German elementary school?
A typical day in a German elementary school, I can only tell you what a typical day in a German elementary school looked like when I went to school, which is not that long ago, but still a very long time for you. I assume some things have changed, but some maybe haven't. So, and my boys here go to an American school, so, and from what I know, it's quite similar. So school would start at 8:15, which is quite early, I think. I don't know when you start your day in the morning.
Usually 8:30. The children have to be in school at 8:45.
Yeah, see, so German kids start a little earlier. And then you have different classes. A class normally takes 45 minutes.
Okay.
And then you have a little break, a recess time. And then there's the next class. And normally elementary school finishes around lunchtime. So by 2 o'clock, the kids would already be at home in Germany.
Yeah,
but there are a couple of cities where you do have full day schools, so where kids could stay at the school till the very evening when their parents work full time, for example. But that's quite rare still.
Yeah, here in our school, our day ends at 3 o'clock. But then if the children did need to, if we're working parents, there is an aftercare program that works into the evening time for them to stay at.
Yeah, in some cities in Germany that also exists, especially in Berlin, which is our capital.
Excellent.
What subject do you learn about in school?
So what subjects do the German students learn in their school?
They learn I think they learn mostly the same subjects as you do learn and study at school. Math, for example, they learn to read and write in German, of course, first of all. And then they have geography and sports. They have music class and arts, where they paint a little, do a little painting, or arts and crafts. They even do theater and make music during the music classes. In Uri's and Noah's school here in Washington, they have, for example, they have a counselor coming in and talking to the kids. That's not something you would find in a German school. I don't know whether you have the same at your school.
We do. We actually have that Miss Medeiros who could come in, and talk to us about, how to express your feelings if you're feeling mad about something.
Exactly.
Or Miss Adams to, if you're having a problem with someone in your class, how you could resolve it. So yeah, we do have that in our school as well.
Yeah, no, that does not exist in a German school.
Excellent.
Are you taught language in school?
Now here in our school, what language do you guys learn besides
English.
And what else? Spanish. Now in Germany,
When do you start learning Spanish in your school? At what grade?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yep.
Yuri also just started learning Spanish in kindergarten. In Germany, you mostly start learning another language in first grade. And when I went to school, I learned my first language in fourth grade. But now kids in Germany, they start learning a foreign language in first grade. And it is mostly English. Because English is a very important language. So many people in the world do speak English, and if you do speak English, you can mostly travel the whole world and you will always find somebody who understands you. So English is a very important language, and that's being taught at the very beginning of the elementary school in Germany. And elementary school in Germany starts with first grade, does not start with kindergarten.
Oh, that's interesting to find out. So they would be typically 5, 6 years old when they start school?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then my first language was actually Latin. That's a language you don't speak anymore. It's a very ancient language, but that's been vastly taught in Germany still. And the same ancient Greek, which you don't speak in Germany, which you don't speak nowadays either anymore, but it gives you a great sense for languages. And that's why they're teaching that to kids at school.
Yeah, that's interesting. When I was in high school here in the States, Latin was an option to take, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside here in the States, and it's primarily Spanish with the occasional other foreign language that are thrown in. It's not until you go to college or to university where you'll find Latin offered as a language to learn.
Yeah, and it makes sense for you to learn Spanish because all your neighbors to the south, they speak Spanish and Portuguese, no? So
Absolutely.
It does make a lot of sense for you to learn Spanish. And there's so many people in the U.S. who live in the U.S. who speak Spanish, whereas in Germany, next to English, the then other language German kids would learn first would be French, because France is a neighbor of Germany. Just to the south.
Excellent.
So for us, it's very important to also be able to speak the languages in your neighboring countries.
Mama, do you learn about different cultures and countries in school?
Now, do you learn
Excuse me, say that again.
Do you learn about other cultures and countries in your school?
Yeah, so yes, you do. You do that through a number of classes. You know that in a language class, when you learn the language, you will learn a lot about the other country as well. You would not only learn how to speak English and how to speak French or Spanish, you would also hear about where these languages are being spoken in the world, and what those countries in which the languages are being spoken look like, and what their cultures is. The same goes for geography and geography classes. You also learn about where you can find other countries and what their cultures are. And also in history classes, for example, or in social sciences, you would learn a lot on where other people come from and what their social background and ethnic background is.
Excellent.
What do kids do for fun in your country?
What do kids do for fun in Germany?
Yeah.
I guess it is not very different from the fun you do in your country. So kids would love to do sports. There's a great culture of doing sports. 1 second, please. Thank you, Dr. Yeah. There's a great culture of doing sports. There are lots of sports clubs, and kids love to play soccer, for example, in Germany. We're crazy about soccer in Germany. And a lot of boys and girls play hockey, field hockey, for example, or basketball, and they do track and field. So sports is, we are a country of people who love to do sports, and there are lots of sports clubs and lots of kids who start at a very early age. And then there are great music schools. We have a very traditional culture and history of going to music classes. There are lots of excellent public music schools who offer a vast variety of to learn different instruments: piano, the violin, guitar, the flute, and other instruments. And then what are the other things that kids do for fun in our country? We do have, for example, a Legoland also in Germany. I'm not sure whether you've ever been to a Legoland in the US.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Legos are very popular here at school.
They are as well in Germany. Do you know where Legos come from originally?
Where's that? Does anyone know? Well, that's where they're manufactured, but I think they were originated in Germany, correct?
No, from Denmark.
Denmark.
But that's a neighboring country to the north.
Yes. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask you, are video games as popular in Germany as they are in the United States?
They are among kids, that's for sure, as is watching television. But I think there's still a difference in how popular it is and how vastly it's been done in Germany than from the US. So fewer kids in Germany would play video games and would watch television compared to the US still.
What is a special place kids like to visit in Germany?
So here in the United States, we kind of have these very big and popular amusement and theme parks like Disneyland and Disney World. Is there a place in Germany where kids look forward to, even at their childhood, and going to visit?
Yeah, so we don't have Disney World. Disneyland is in Paris, in France, which is our neighboring country, and a lot of German kids have been there because it's not that far away. But we don't have any Disney World in Germany, but there's similar fun parks in Germany as well where kids love to go to. So you would find a park like, it's called Phantasialand, which is like Fantasyland, and there you can do lots of different activities as well, and that's what you find in Germany. And Legoland.
And Legoland,
Dinner in USA is our biggest meal. It is the time we spend with our family. Is there a meal similar to that in your country?
So.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't want to interrupt.
I was going to say that here in the U.S., we kind of dinner is always the family meal here, where that's the opportunity where the parents and the children kind of can sit around that table together and have a conversation about the day. Is it the same way in Germany, or is there another meal that may be more important?
That is certainly the same way in Germany. We also love to come together at our dinner table in Germany and within the family and talk about the highs and the lows of the day and the funny things and the things that annoyed us and what our plans for the weekend are. That's what we also do. And you know what the dinner in Germany is mostly called? It's called Abendbrot, which means the evening bread. Because we have a great culture of eating bread and salami and cheeses and salad in the evening. And that's what kids would mostly eat. They don't eat any warm dish mostly, but they have bread in the evening. And that's very traditional. And the other meal that's very important is breakfast on a weekend. You can go to whatever restaurant and would find a huge buffet or breakfast buffet with lots of yummy things. And people would stay there and sit there and stay there for hours and hours and chat away and enjoy themselves.
So, did you say that the traditional German dinner is not a hot meal? It's traditionally a cold meal?
Yes, it's a cold meal.
Interesting. Go ahead.
What are some special activities you do during your holidays?
Now, does Germany have any special holidays that they celebrate themselves that are unique to the country? And what kind of things do you do to celebrate those holidays?
Yes, we do have. Well, our national holiday, you mean in the sense of national holiday?
Yes.
Yeah, so our national holiday is on October 3rd. That's quite late in the year, and it's often very cold in Germany at that time of year. But we do celebrate it with fireworks, and there are concerts, people gather and would celebrate together. We are all off work, and there's no school on that day, so it's really a holiday where nobody has to work and can enjoy themselves. And what we celebrate is our reunification, because Germany has been separated into two parts of the country for a number of decades, and at one point in time, those two parts have been put together again, and there was a reunification, and that's what we celebrate on that day. So that's our national holiday.
Now,
and for example, the president or the chancellor would give a speech on that day and would highlight our history and would give a outlook into the future and where they think we're heading and why they think it's been so important. This day is so important and what we're celebrating, so that everybody knows about that.
Excellent. Now, do you have any like a unique way of maybe celebrating a holiday that's familiar to us here in the United States? Like, do you have a special tradition or activity that you do during Christmas time or anything like that?
Yes, we do. So different from the U.S., children, and that Yuri can tell you about that. Because in Germany, Santa comes on Christmas evening, so the evening of the 24th of December. Whereas I understand Santa here in the U.S. comes on the morning of the 25th, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so Santa, I guess he needs to really see that he can reach all the kids in the world. So he made the decision to see the German kids on the evening of the 24th already. So even here in the U.S., while we're here in the U.S. and we are a German family, Santa came to our house on the evening of the 24th.
Excellent.
And all his American friends got their presents from Santa on the morning of the 25th.
So
and on Christmas Day, we celebrate. We have a Christmas tree like you do, and we sing songs, and we go to the church, and we have a big special meal that it's mostly a family tradition. Could be a German dish. We also have a turkey, but not every family does that. So there are lots of different family traditions in what special meal you eat on Christmas.
Excellent.
And then we have Easter. Easter is also a very important holiday in Germany. 1 second, please. Noah, du musst jetzt mal ganz kurz alleine dich fertig machen, ja? Oder Juri hilft dir. So on Easter, we go out on an Easter hunt, and we search all the little Easter eggs that are hidden somewhere, that the Easter bunny hid somewhere in the grass outside in the field.
Cool. Excellent. Are there, number 10.
Are there any laws or costumes that restrict boys or girls from doing
Different jobs.
things in the country?
Now, I know you had told us that the Prime Minister is actually a woman. Are there any laws that regulate any kind of discrimination about gender at all in Germany? Or has equality kind of taken over as it has in the United States as well?
Well, as a general basis, yes, there is equality, and that's written in the Constitution. So our constitution guarantees that there is no discrimination between genders. But it's been vastly debated whether you should have a quota for a firm, for example, to have females in the management or in the government, whether you should have a quota and how many women have to work there at a certain level. It's been highly debated, but we don't have that. But we certainly do have a policy whereby we support female applications when they're applying for any job in the civil service or also in the private sector in the economy.
What about number 11?
What are responsibilities of children in their
So what are the responsibilities of children in a German household? Do they have responsibilities that they have to take care of like we do here in the States?
I'm not so familiar with the duties you have at home, your responsibilities you have at home. Certainly, my boys, and I think they're representative for a lot of German families, they have to help in the household. So they would have to help prepare the dinner table. They have to help put all the stuff away from dinner table. They also have to put their clothes away when they're dirty into the washing basket. They have to help clean up their toys at home. So there are a number of duties they also have in our household.
So what kind of chores do you guys do at home?
same thing as you just said.
Same thing, right? Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Same thing.
Yeah, a lot of you guys
I have to take out the garbage.
take out the garbage cans, washing dishes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes Yuri and Noah are excited about doing that, but often they aren't. Are you?
Are you guys excited to do your chores?
No.
Oh.
Number 12. Go ahead.
Oh my god. Awesome.
Oh, that's a big hit right there, huh? Okay, number 12. That was cool. 12. Yeah. Oh, look there. Who's that? Upcoming. So what sports would be the most popular in your country for the upcoming Winter Olympics? What events do you think the people in Germany are most looking forward to?
We are a great nation of sports. So, for example, we always have a ski jumping championship on New Year's, the first beginning of January, so New Year in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, which is in the south of the country, and it's an international championship where people and athletics from all over the world participate. So we are very interested in the Winter Olympics as well. And I guess the ones that people are most excited about are ski jumping, and then also biathlon and ice hockey, for example. There's lots of ice hockey going on in Germany. So I assume that's what a lot of people are interested in watching. And also alpine ski.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something you also do in the German mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Question?
Is there any Beyblades in Germany?
There's a toy that's been very popular here in the United States called Beyblades, which are kind of looks like a spinning top. Would they be something that would be popular in Germany, or probably haven't made its way across?
I don't know. I don't know that toy. Might well be. I'm not familiar with it. Do you know it? Yuri knows it. Why don't you join the conversation if you know the toy? No, he's
Go ahead. 13.
So what are you looking forward to watch now? You going to watch the Winter Olympics?
All right.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, what are you going to look forward to watching?
Hockey.
Hockey, yeah, ice hockey is very popular
Ice
here.
hockey.
Yeah, the U.S. did very well last Olympics in the ice hockey. Basketball is the summer. I'm looking forward to, personally, the snowboarding events because I enjoy taking part in the snowboarding.
Oh.
So, and my wife enjoys the figure skating, so I know we'll be watching that as well.
All right.
Go ahead.
Has your country ever hosted Olympics?
Has your country ever hosted the Olympics?
Oh, yes, we did. Already 3 times.
Wow.
So twice we hosted the Summer Games, and once in the 1970s and 1972 they took place in Munich, which is in the south of Germany, and twice in the 1930s in Berlin and in Garmisch. We had both the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics.
And that was that was when they were in the same year, correct? Or
yes.
Yeah, because now there's a time difference. There's 2 years between the summer and the winter games. But back in the 30s, it was the same year. So Berlin actually hosted it in the summer and then again in the winter, which was unique
at the
time.
It was in winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead.
How are laws created in your country?
How are laws created in Germany?
Oh, that's very difficult. So, how can I explain that easily? So, a law can be suggested by somebody who works in the government, and then they have to draft it and say, look, that's how we could write it out, and that's how we could lay out the rules. And then it's been sent to Parliament, and then Parliament debates it, and they talk and discuss it and say, oh, I like that a lot, and others say, no, I don't like that. And then somebody says, but we have forgotten to include X. And then somebody else might say, but I think it's not important to include X. And so they're discussing it a lot of times until it's been passed by Parliament. And then it needs to be officially publicized. But before that's being done, a linguist, so somebody who knows languages and who knows language and a language, takes a look at it, because they want to make sure that when people read it, the people out in the street who aren't experts on a certain subject know and understand what the law says. Because sometimes the experts who draft the laws, they use very difficult language, and just to make sure that everybody like you and me understand what's being written in those laws, there's a linguist who goes through the law and tries to draft it in a way that everybody understands the terms.
Excellent.
What are the different forms of money you use?
What are the different forms of money that you use in Germany?
Oh, I brought you some money.
Oh, all right.
Look at. And you know what? We do not have a national currency anymore. About 15 years ago, we skipped our national currency because Germany, as you may know, is on the other side of the Atlantic, no?
Yep.
In Europe. And Europe, a lot of nations in Europe formed something already decades ago, which is called the European Union. And within the European Union, they said, we want to work closer and closer together, and we don't only want to work closer together on a political level, but also on an economic level. So what we do, we abolish all our national currencies, and we just form one single currency for the whole area of the European Union. So, for example, so by now it's 18 different countries who decided to use the same currency. And just the last country that joined that Eurozone, that's what it's called, the zone where you use the same currency, the euro, is Latvia, which is in the northeast of Europe. And they just joined the Eurozone beginning of January, 1st of January, which is a great thing because if you do travel, for example, if you travel to Mexico, you have to have the Mexican currency with euro. You have to exchange dollars into the Mexican currency. Whereas when Germans travel to France or when they travel to Austria, they can always use the same currency. So you don't have to do any changes at all. And that's what the money looks like. That's a 50 euro bill, which is about, let's say it's about a little more than 75 US dollars. Mm-hmm. That's what a bill looks like.
Now,
and this is, for example, this is a 2 euro coin. Can you see that?
There it is. Yep.
A 2 euro coin. And that's the equivalent amount of about $3.30 or so. Oh no, that's even more. I'm sorry. It's the equivalent amount to about $2.60. So that's where we would still have a coin, and you already have a dollar bill, right?
Yep.
So that's what it looks like.
Now, what are represented on the euro itself? We've noticed that a lot of the currency that we've seen has usually a political figure on there, and then usually an image up on the back. what is typically found on a euro?
So, yeah, you can't read that out lucky. I'll give you a lucky penny in a minute, okay? Sorry, he was excited about the money as well. He wanted to have it. So what you would do with the euros, as far as the coins are concerned, the one side would always be similar, would always be the same. So you can, I don't know whether you can see it. You can see a map of the European Union.
See the countries right here? Yep, you can see the country. Yep, the country outline.
There's a number on it, so it's €1.
Yep.
And then in the back, you would have a national symbol. So, and that would let you know where this coin has been printed. Where this coin has been printed. So that's a German eagle. Our national symbol is an eagle, just like yours. It's a different eagle, but it's also an eagle. So, and when you turn around the coin, you would know that comes from Germany, this very coin. And unfortunately, I only have coins that are from Germany. Maybe I do have some. Oh no, I do. I have a French coin as well. A coin that comes from France. So that's a 10-cent coin. And there it is. And if you look at that, that's a national symbol of France in the back. So you would always know where that coin has been printed in which country, which is exciting because sometimes you end up getting a French coin in Latvia, for example, which is a completely different part of the continent. And that's very exciting to see where all these coins come from and how they are being exchanged and how they travel the Eurozone.
And that would be accepted at any of the countries that are in the European League, regardless of where it was printed.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of like.
And here on the bill, you can see that there's also a map of the European Union. With all the different states.
See it right here.
And then there are national symbols of the different countries. So here, for example, one of those arches. So you would use important buildings, or you would use important buildings that you can find in any of the countries. But these bills they're all the same, so you would not find any national bills. The bills would all look the same from both sides in every country. It's just for the coins that way you can have one side, which is a national side.
Excellent. That was great. That's a great question. All right, so I know they have some questions that they want to ask you that aren't on the list. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you know anything about World War II, Germany?
That was a good question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it was a little blurred. Could you just maybe repeat, Jesse?
Do you know anything about World War II with Hitler?
Yeah, the question was about Germany's, I guess, involvement during World War II, which has since after the fall of the Third Reich has changed dramatically since then. Correct?
Yes, and I do know about the Third Reich and about World War II and Hitler. Yes, every kid in Germany knows about that. Every single kid would be taught about that. And just to make sure that something that has happened during the Second World War will never happen again. And by now, I think it's not just imaginable that something of the like would happen in Germany or in Europe again. Germany is one of the very democratic pillars in the European Union and out in the world. It's a great partner of the US when it comes to promoting freedom and democracy in the world. So things that have happened in the past in Germany, I think everybody embraced the consequences, and everybody knows that we all have to make sure that something as horrific as the Second World War will never happen again. And yes, every child is being taught that at school.
Excellent. That was a great response.
Oh, look, and yeah. Come, good. And Yuri has something for you. He made something. Do you know what that is?
The flag.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
The German flag made out of
the
Legos.
German flag made of Lego. Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's very cool. God.
Is there any candles on iPads or iPods?
Do you guys have technology that are similar to the United States, like a Kindle or an iPad or an iPhone? Is that all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're Skyping on an iPad right now.
Oh, they're
Yes,
Skyping on an
Skyping
iPad
on
right
iPad.
now.
Yes, we are. And yes, for sure, we all have the same technology, yes.
That's a good question.
And people in Germany are as much crazy about new technology as you're here in the US.
Good. Good.
I have state coins at home, and one of them is a German coin.
Yeah,
It has like a German thing on the back instead of a bald eagle.
a German eagle on the back. So he may have one of those euro coins at his house.
Yes, yes, exciting.
Excellent.
Do you have like the Xbox?
Would the video game systems be the same as in Germany as they would in the United States? Something like PlayStation or Xbox, would that be universal as
Yes,
well?
and the Wii station as well.
For
You
the
would
Wii,
find
yep.
all of that in Germany.
Now, I know you had a question about learning something in German. Is that correct? Go ahead. We were going to ask if you could teach us maybe one or two German words, maybe numbers.
Oh yeah, I forgot I wanted to teach you that. And you know what? But just to give you some idea about Germany, I wanted to tell you a little bit. So do you know where Germany is when you look at the world map?
Do you guys know where it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, and we have, there are about 82 million people who live in Germany, which is about a fourth of the number of people who live in the US.
Yep.
And if you look at the size of Germany, how big Germany is or how small Germany is, you would see that Germany is very small when you put it on a US map. It's a little bigger than New Mexico and a little smaller than Montana, just to give you an idea. So we only have like a probably it's just as big as one larger federal state within the United States, Germany's. But we do have lots of neighbors. So whenas you have to travel very far to come to a border, and very far to come to a border where you don't speak any English anymore, there are lots of languages being spoken in Germany, and we have lots of neighbors, lots of neighbor countries.
Now, a lot of times, though, with some of the languages, they're very similar, correct? Like if you were going to go into Poland, for example, the languages would be not exactly, but would you be able to communicate at all, or no?
No.
Okay.
German and Polish are completely different. You would not understand a single word.
Now, what
German
would...
and Danish are
Danish,
very
okay.
different, which is in the north. You would not be able to understand a single word. There are people in Switzerland and in Austria, that's just south of Germany, where in parts they also speak German, and there where you would be able to understand yourself. But
Okay.
if you look at the map, there's Germany, and then in the north there's Denmark, and the Danish, they don't speak any German. They speak Danish, and you would not be able to understand them. Then there's Poland. Then there's the Czech Republic, then there's Hungary, there's Austria, where yes, you do speak German, and there's Switzerland, where yes, a few people also speak German, but then there's France, and there's Luxembourg, and there's Belgium, and the Netherlands, and they all do speak a different language. So there are lots of countries and who are our neighbors very close by who do speak a completely different language.
Which is so different from us, where we border Canada and Mexico, and that's it. And a lot of Canadians speak English, and it's very different.
That's true. But you do know some German words. Did you know that the word kindergarten is a German word?
Did you know that? No, we didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's for German. It's a German word that's been used in the English language. Or do you like pretzels? Yeah, that's a German word.
Wow, look at that. Go ahead. How old are you when you would graduate from the university in Germany?
When you graduate from university?
Yes.
Oh, that's very different. That very much depends on what you study. But what's the difference between the US and Germany? So when you finish your school, your high school, which is called an A level in Germany, that's when you're 18 or 19 years old. So it's 13 years of school in Germany in a lot of federal states in Germany. Whereas here it's only 12 years, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So in Germany, a lot of kids would go a year or more to school before they join college or go to university. And then they're trying to standardize it a lot more the way you have it, like with a bachelor system and a master system, but you don't find that everywhere still. So you can't really say you leave university after 2 or 3 years. That really depends on the studies you're doing.
Now, I know in some of the European countries, you have, while you're in that A-level school, you kind of pick a track as to what you want to do as you grow up. Is that similar in Germany, or can you kind of graduate from that A-level school still not really sure as to what you want to do as a career?
Yes and no. So somebody who would do an A-level would most likely go to university. And then you can also have a graduation at middle school, and then you would use a different track. You would probably do an apprenticeship, and then you might go to community college or so. So there are different possibilities, but once you do your A-level, most people would go to university.
Do you know what the word nabi means? I think it means but. No. That's Korean.
Ah, okay. Different language. Go ahead, Chris.
What does pretzel and kindergarten mean in German?
So what does pretzel and kindergarten actually mean?
So kindergarten is kindergarten in German. In German, and in Germany, but you don't say garden, you say garten with a T. You pronounce it with a T. You also write it with a T, right? But it's more pronounced like a D.
Yes.
In German, it's pronounced like a T. So it would be, the word would be kindergarten. And it's just the same as in English. And pretzel is the same as in German. So it's the same word and it means the same.
There you go.
And Delikatessen, for example, is also a German word. And that means the same.
Is there do you have the Despicable Me movie?
Oh, that's a good question. Do American movies make it over to Germany, or do you guys have a separate kind of movie production company? Like, for example, the Toy Stories, the Despicable Me's. Would that be translated into German for the children to watch that?
Yeah, we really very much live in a globalized world. So yes, Toy Story, you could watch that in Germany in German. It would be translated. And I guess most movies that are being produced in the US would make it to Germany, but I assume not all the movies that are being produced in Germany in German would make it to the US.
That's a great question. The question was, is there a traditional role for women in Germany that has it changed now? Like in the United States for a long time, the traditional role for the woman was to stay at home, but that kind of stereotype has changed over the years, and now you see, almost an equal workforce of women to men. Is it the same in Germany as well?
Well, yeah. Traditionally, women used to be the ones who stayed at home and were moms and ran the household. That's true. They had been the homemakers. But by now that has changed. I wouldn't say that the vast majority of women works. But for example, I work at the Embassy on Public Diplomacy, and I do work part-time. I do job sharing with another colleague, and that gives me the opportunity to sometimes pick up my kids and go for lunch like today and then be at home in the afternoon. So you do have models like that in Germany as well. But there's still a lot of room for improvement, I would say.
All right, we got it running out of time. So any more questions before we go? Yeah, one more. What do you think would be the most popular profession in Germany for man or a woman in the country?
A doctor is a very popular profession. A lawyer, lots of lawyers, very popular, but also lots of handymen. So crafts or timbermen or people who do something with their hands, that's highly respected in Germany. So you would also find a lot of people who would go into those professions. And that I think there's more esteem and more recognition for the hard work in those fields in Germany than it is in the US.
Okay, one more. Yeah. That's great.
Look at this, R2-D2.
Go ahead.
Is there any other question?
No?
You have?
Last one.
Do you call soccer football there, or is it called football?
Do you call soccer football, or is it called soccer?
It's called soccer, and that's a very good catchword you just used, because I wanted to ask you whether you like soccer. Do you like soccer?
Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're more. I think you get more of American football here as the most popular sport. But
but then maybe the World Championship can change that, because you know that the World Championship is coming up in Brazil in summer.
Yep. Yeah, and I believe, did Germany win the last World Cup, or I know they hosted it recently.
In 2006, we hosted it, but we didn't win. No.
Right, but they've always had a phenomenal soccer team, the Germans, correct?
Yes, and you know what? This time around, when the World Championships are coming up in Brazil, Germany and the US are in one group together. So in the pre-matches, we will play against each other.
Oh, all right. So maybe we'll have a little rooting interest now when we watch those games. Go ahead, Chris.
Talking about Brazil, Brazil is your capital state.
Is the what?
Capital state.
Berlin.
Berlin is the capital
Yes.
state of Germany.
Berlin is our capital, like Washington is your capital.
Yep. Excellent. All right.
Well, we are in Washington. Yuri, Noah, and I. We're speaking to you from Washington.
I cannot thank you enough. I completely am blown away that we had this great conversation with your boys running around and having them participate in it, and they were great and so well behaved, and I think it's just absolutely wonderful, and I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to talk with us.
I'm most happy to do so, and if you do have any other questions, you're happy to shoot me an email. I can send you something over about Germany if you're interested in receiving some more information about my country.
Excellent. So what do we say, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great Friday afternoon and a great weekend.
You too. Thank you so much.
Right. Do you also want to say bye, Yuri?
Bye.
Bye,
You
Yuri.
want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye, boys.
Bye. Thanks so much. That was great fun. Bye.
Have a good weekend.